Hello, this is the daily encouragement message we prepared on Monday, May 12th, 2025. We are Stephen and Brooksine Weber. Our goal each weekday is to encourage and provide Bible teaching. Today we title the message, Honoring Mothers. Bible texts are from Exodus 20, verse 12, and Proverbs 31, verse 28.
Honor your father and your mother. Her children arise and call her blessed.
Yesterday was Mother's Day here in the U.S. and perhaps other countries as well. This day and Father's Day could also be called Fifth Commandment Sunday, since on both days we are called to honor our father and mother. To honor means to regard with great respect. The preacher yesterday acknowledged Mother's Day as he gestured that his mother was in the congregation. He reminded us to call or text our moms, and I leaned over and whispered to Brooksine, I can't imagine texting my mom. Well, that's due to her being with the Lord now for nearly 20 years, but also the whole notion of sending a text seems rather odd, given the time period in which she lived, and she did not keep up with technology even at that time. The Fifth Commandment states, honor your father and your mother. Yesterday, many of us practiced this commandment, or may have been the recipient of others practicing it, our ladies or mothers out there. For some, the honor was posthumous, remembering our mothers who have since left this world, which is the case for Brooksine and me.
The fifth commandment is the first commandment in a category often characterized as horizontal, that is, the way we treat our fellow humans. It's distinct from our first four commandments, which primarily relate to God and are thus seen as vertical. It's also the first commandment with the promise, and I quote, so that you may live long in the land the Lord your God is giving you. The precept commentary states it this way. The fifth commandment is so important that God attaches the inherent motivation of a promise because this commandment is the key to all human relationships and the passing on of a righteous heritage. God designed the family, and if this commandment is not functioning, that design will be disturbed. Witness the dissolution of the family in America, one cause being the failure of children to obey this important command. And I end that quote.
We certainly see that this command in so many cases is not functioning properly. Today, let us resolve to faithfully obey the fifth commandment, to honor our father and mother. For children, this is expressed as we obey our parents. To adults, this is expressed when we live a life that will bring our parents honor as we uphold respect toward the family name. An even harder commission for some is to restore honor to the family name, which has been tarnished by parents who did not live honorably.
One of the dominant signs of our age is the failure to honor parents. Children who honor and obey their parents, and by extension, all their elders, are foundational to an orderly society. They grow up into adulthood with a proper attitude toward authority. The commandments of God are interrelated, and a breach in any of them leads to a breach in others. A sign of the last times includes children who are, according to 2 Timothy 3 verse 2, disobedient to their parents.
This generational dependency is that the young need the blessing, stability, and wisdom of the elders, even as the elders need the honor and energy of the young. This is God's foundational design for the transmission of truth from one generation to another. Paul wrote, the things you have heard from me in the presence of many witnesses, entrust these to faithful men who will be able to teach others also. 2 Timothy 2 verse 2. And although that's a ministerial verse, it also has a great application for the family.
Would you join us in prayer? Father, your perfect design for creating a family started with Adam and Eve, and so your order continues right down to our own generation. At the heart of our family relations, the fifth commandment indicates that we're to honor our father and mother, which includes a promise that we'll live long, full lives. So, Lord, when we honor our parents, we also honor you and show appreciation for your marvelous workmanship in our lives. We acknowledge that you ordained the family of our origin, and we give thanks to you for our mother and father, brothers and sisters. Make us a blessing to them as the fruit of the Spirit continues to grow in our lives and is played out in our relationships to them. Amen. We'd like to update you on Esther. Once again, thank you for praying for her healing. She came home yesterday afternoon after 6 days at Hershey Medical Center. On Friday, she underwent a heart catheterization, and steps were taken to hopefully increase her oxygen saturation. We've seen a few, she's more like in the mid-80s again. Not where we really want to see her, but we're hopefully...
That would be percent of oxygen saturation.
In her blood, yes. So we've seen enough improvement, though, that she's able to come home and is now recovering. There's much that could be said about the procedure, but I am totally, I tried to, I couldn't, I just erased it all. I'm just inadequate to describe the medical steps used by the doctor because of Esther's complex heart disease. In fact, there was a graph that was used for the ones that they're training by the doctor because it's complicated. But thankfully, she's no longer experiencing shortness of breath or chest pains, which is really what drove us to get medical intervention for her. We didn't know the SATs had dropped as well.
She took up the discharge, but I think it was called hypoxia, so I had to look that up.
Chronic hypoxia, yeah.
And we have a couple songs today for Mother's Day, as well as some photos of us with our mothers. If you care to go to our site today, we've run these photos before. Going back when we were young, there's just not a whole lot of photos to pick from like there'd be for today's generation. So typically when it comes to our marriage and our younger years, it's just going to have to be repeats. But we know we have new readers and we haven't used it for several years, so you may enjoy that. Well, thank you for joining us today for our daily encouragement message, Monday, May 12th, 2025. Our website is dailyencouragement.net, and today's message, honoring mothers.